Welcome back to another episode of the Grunge Bible Podcast. My name is Ethan Shalloway, and I'm here with Chris Solona as usual, and we're excited for a great episode. Chris, this is episode 61. How do you feel today?
I feel so much better than I thought I would feel today, sitting here on a Monday. We're recording on Monday, May 16th, so we're a week in advance. This is coming out on the 23rd of May, but given the choices that I've made over the last week, I should not be feeling as good as I feel here today. Maybe it's just because I'm a little fired up to talk some grunge rock with you, but I'm just going to take it. You know, you roll with the punches when things are good, just as you do when things are bad. So things are good. I don't want to question it too much. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Came off a pretty relaxing weekend, different than yours. We're always on
reality of man.
Sometimes we're always sometimes we're parallel, but I feel like usually it's like one person is well rested and the other person is not. So,
but between the two of us, the bases are covered, so it doesn't really make a difference.
Yes, and I'm actually heading out to Arizona tomorrow for a competition at the end of this week. I'm going to see my family. They're going to visit to be able to watch, which will be awesome. And then after that, I'm actually going to go to California with my friend and see Drew. So I believe, not to put any pressure on ourselves, but I believe the next episode we're probably going to have Drew involved, which would be kind of fun.
Yeah, it seems like the opportunity is there, so we need to take it.
So it'll be fun. I got some travel coming ahead, and it's going to be really good. But I am excited to do this podcast. Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it certainly is, because we are going to discuss a topic that is near and dear to both of our hearts and has been for some time, and that's Pearl Jam. We were sitting down earlier today trying to decide what we were going to talk about for the next hour, and it occurred to us it's been some time since we've just purely gotten into the Pearl Jam zone, and that zone is just as important as any other zone that you could be in. So today, we decided there's no better time than now, and Ethan, you and I compiled some top 10 lists, and we're gonna bring it to you, our top 10 Pearl Jam songs. And the interesting thing, you know, before we thank those that need to be thanked, the interesting thing about these lists is that this list could be massively different if I made it last night, if I made it tonight, if I made it tomorrow. I feel like it's always changing. Which, you know, is a testament to just how many good songs there are, and things kind of sneak up on you. And we were remarking that you make your list, and, oh shit, I forgot about this song, and then you're like, all right, this is the list, and you're like, oh, this is another song that I forgot about. But it's a good feeling to know that there's that much out there.
Yeah, I wrote the list. I wrote down all the songs that first came to my head, and then it was more than 10, and then I looked at the albums, and then I found a few other songs I'd forgotten about, and it's just, you know, it's fun scratching names off and reordering. And so I think the best way to put this list, like you said, each day it changes, is if I were to build a playlist right now of 10 Pearl Jams I want to hear and in what order, I feel like this is what I came up with. Yeah. So I feel like it's like what I want to listen to right now. So, because there's a lot of songs that I think we'll talk about that probably have, you know, listeners fatigue that may not make the list. And that doesn't mean that, you know, if we're ranking like top 10, you know, critically acclaimed or top 10, like, you know, world renowned, you know, it's a different list.
Oh yeah. My list, if I had to pick like the 10 best, my list would look quite different. I'm sure there would be a couple that would make both, but for the large majority of this list, I don't think they would appear on the other one. But it's all in the eyes of the beholder, which is really cool. I mean, if we had 1,000 people listen to this, we'd probably get 1,000 different lists. Right.
And I was thinking it would be, I mean, I'm sure people have made lists and done polls and stuff, but it would be like, if you want that list, if you want the accurate list of what people think is their best 10 songs, then we'll do a poll. But maybe we'll have to. Maybe we won't. So before we do that, we'd like to thank our Patreons supporters, and I think that is critical for this show. So before we say the names, if you are interested in supporting us, the best way to do that is on Patreon. We have a $2, $5, and $10 tier, which goes directly to paying off our debts. We all pay our debts sometime, and we have a few to keep this thing running, for editing, for hosting the site, and just a few different things. And we put a lot. There's a lot of time that goes into these episodes, so it just helps us, takes the pressure off of certain aspects and allows us to be more creative. So head on that way. And Chris has the ever-growing, extensive list of supporters that we are going to go.
It is my pristine honor to bring that list to you. And if you are interested in joining this list of esteemed individuals and distinguished people, it's pretty easy. Just look at the episode description wherever you're listening. It is linked there, as is the merchandise link. So if you want to double whammy it, become a patron and get some merch for the summer or for the winter, wherever you might be, it's never been easier. It's right in front of you right now as you listen to this. So the individuals that have made that leap, we talk about being people of action on this show, and I can't think of people of greater action than our top level Patreon supporters who keep this thing rolling. And this week I would like to thank Fresh Tendonitis, Carlene Salona, Wayne Staley, Victor Schaefer, Kara Kay, The Blue Owl, Jade Mercado, Doug Endy, Fuck Soup, Rachel Corning, Jamie Lynn, our number one fan from Australia, What the Fuck's Up Denny's, Release, Alexis Shannon, Millie, Kayla Jean, Marianne, Nikki Six, Shannon Gargone, Sue, Sunny Mashburn, Lauren Irene, Chris LSMS, Black Hole Sean, Darian Riddle, Brenda, Alex Long, and Captain Hightop. So all those out there who I just read your names, thank you so much for continuing to support this podcast as we roll deeper into the valley of year 2. No, it's not a valley. It's a mountain peak. Yeah, fuck that. It's not a valley. That sounded so desolate. No, it's a lot more fun than that, I promise.
Yeah, it's all good.
All good.
So before we get into the top 10 list, as you'd like to call it, even when I say top 10, it's not our top 10 songs of the album 10, because it could have been.
So I think there's only 11 songs on it.
I know.
Which one's not making the cut?
Exactly. But that's how good that album is.
Which one's not making the cut, and why is it Jeremy?
Yeah. Oh, shots fired. Chris, I know you had a concert experience on Friday that and the last Monday, which I don't think we recorded. No, we did. It was after.
Yeah, we recorded. I think we recorded the day after, but we kind of glossed over it because we had some discussion to get to.
Yeah. So, real quick, I do want to mention that you went to a show on Friday, and I want to hear your synopsis because we like talking about concerts, and I think that is it's relevant and it's happening right now. So, Chris, how was your music experience on Friday?
Oh man, it was one of the better, more intimate shows that I've been to. So I went up to Somerville, Massachusetts, to see Tomberlin, who I think we've mentioned on this show before. I'm pretty sure she has had a song of the week from your selection. So I went up there. So she's just starting a tour of the United States in support of her new record. I Don't Know Who Needs to Hear This is what the record is called. And I was fortunate enough to catch the first show of the tour. So last Friday on May the 13th, I believe, went up there. And it was a super cute venue. I think it was called the Crystal Ballroom. There probably couldn't have been more than 800 people there. I was right up at the front, right in front of the stage. And, Ethan, you had told me about Tomberlin. I don't know how long ago. It's certainly been several months now. But I remember you told me about her. I listened to probably half of one song, and I looked up what the touring scheduling was for her. And it was just around that time that I saw she was playing in Somerville, and I bought the ticket right there. I probably had only listened to her for 3 minutes at the time, and I was like, this is something that I need to hear in person, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do so. And it was a really, really great show. Her first tour with a full band. I guess previously it had traditionally just been her. So that was really, really cool. They worked through some different technical issues that come with the first show of the first tour with the band. But overall, it was such a good vibe, such a good space to be in, and it was just really, really impressive. And I was able to after the show, she came out to the merch table, and I thanked her for the music and for putting the tour on. And I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if people impact you in such a way, I think you got to let them know. So I was really happy that I had the opportunity to do that. And it was a great night of music.
Yeah. And very jealous that you got to see her. Her tour dates are nothing really close to me when I'm around or when I'm traveling, nothing close to get to go to, which stinks. So I'm Hey, I'd be hard pressed to get to a show, but I'd love to. And what I'm thinking about is, we never know where an artist is going to go when we see them. And hopefully, we get to look back in 10 years and be like, yeah, I saw her at a really small venue in Massachusetts. And you get to speak on that and have those memories. And, if you're out there and you wish that you would have saw a certain band before they got big, well, that means that you got to go to shows that aren't going to have a lot of people. So, that's a great experience. So do something out of the ordinary and go to a show that take a risk like Chris did, because that's all. I mean, he had just heard of her music and he bought a ticket, and I love that.
You buy the ticket and you figure everything else out later. And it's funny. I was talking to you the day after the show on the phone, and I had made that remark. I think for everybody who goes to a lot of shows, there are some shows that you remember for a while, and there's some that just kind of fade into memory. And the really special ones are as soon as the show ends, or even while it's happening, you're going to remember it for a while. It's going to be special to you. And that's how I felt at that show. Probably about a couple of songs in, everybody was kind of loosening up and getting into it, and I think just growing comfortable. And it just felt like one of those shows that you're going to remember. And I go to a lot of shows. I've seen a lot of acts live, and there's certainly some that I can remember having gone to, and there's some I have to think about, like, oh yeah, I did see that artist that time a few summers ago or whatever. I think this is one that I'm always going to remember, and I'm really grateful that I was able to go. And I wish Ethan that you were able to be there with me, but that time will come.
Yeah, no, we haven't seen. Have we seen a show? I mean, other than Pearl Jam, I think
that's it. We've only seen Pearl Jam together.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, I wish I was there too. So yeah, if you want to catch somebody before they get big, that means you got to go to their shows before they get big.
Gut, trust your ear.
Yeah. So go see your friends' live music. Go see the bands that are playing at the local venues. Support local music. All right. Speaking of not so small bands,
and speaking of Pearl Jam,
and speaking of Pearl Jam,
the mighty Jam.
So there is. I guess what we're gonna do is kind of go. We'll go one list and then the other, and obviously start at number 10, correct?
Yeah, I believe that is where I would like to start on this top 10
list. How did you I don't want to start with one. How did you make your list first? Did you just pick them out of thin air, like first thing that comes to mind, or did you?
Yeah, so I think for me, I don't have a more intimate relationship with a band and a band's catalog than I do with Pearl Jam and their catalog. So with the type of connection that I have to it and just the amount of time that I've spent listening to it, there were certainly, I'd say there were 4 songs that popped out that I knew they were going to be on the list, and I knew pretty much where they were going to be on the list. Other than that, though, probably I'd say like 6 through 10 on the list is just a limbo zone where it kind of depends what mood I'm in or how recently I've listened to something or what I've recently connected with, I think. But yeah, it was pretty much one of those things that I had my non-negotiables, and then otherwise just kind of combing through the track lists on all the different albums and whatnot, and remembering which ones stuck out to me. There were a few on here that I put only because I connected with them deeply in the past, and because of what they meant to me at a point in time, they mean a lot to me now. And then there's one song on this list that never really meant a whole lot to me until lately. I've just been kind of jamming out to it. I dig it a lot lately, but I don't really have a connection with it. So I guess my reasoning for putting things on this list, it changes with each song, but I do feel pretty good about this list kind of encompassing everything that the band is able to do, which is really cool. So kind of to your point that if you had 10 songs to show somebody about what the band is about,
right.
I feel pretty decent that this list would get the job done. What about you? What was your rationale for putting this list together? How did you go about it?
Yeah, as I said earlier, I kind of viewed it as, because it does change. It's definitely
sure does.
No secret that your music taste ebbs and flows. So I viewed this as like, yeah, if I had to pick 10 songs to build a playlist that I'd get into a car right now, well, maybe not even a car, because I know that takes sometimes that dictates what you listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
But so I just thought that what songs I want to listen to right now, and I wrote down about 20 or 25 songs, and then I started circling the ones, and I had to move some around. So it was pretty. I tried to attack it with like kind of like gut instinct, like top 10 gut. Like don't
You almost
overthink
can't think about it too much. Exactly.
Yeah, you can't, because once I started
paper.
Exactly. Once I started thinking about it, I was like, oh, like why? And then I was like, trying to explain to myself why I want to put this one above this one, and really, it's really difficult. So, I actually have like 11 songs. I had to, because there was one I added late, and I was like, I can't. Yeah, I was like, I can't. I was like, I really want to put that.
We have a long-standing tradition on this podcast of not being able to count. So I mean, this fits in perfectly.
And I tried to, same for you. There's a few songs that I hope are surprising to people. That like, maybe they'll go listen to them, but that's mainly because we had a connection with them at one point.
Definitely.
There's one song specifically, like for some reason it was a song that I had on my iPod like right when it came out, and I listened to it a ton. At night, and it's kind of, I think it's kind of maybe not random, but
I'm excited to hear your list, because I'm just as I think knowing you, I know there's a few that I could probably guess right now will be on your list, but I think a lot of them I might not know, and I think you might feel the same way for me. So that's going to be really cool to kind of share that.
Do you want to guess any before? I won't even react.
Oh, I don't want to.
You
don't want to be made a fool over the air.
Okay.
So I think
let's do it.
May I go first? May I bring my
the
list
the
to
floor,
the people first?
The floor is yours. So
the floor is mine, Senator.
If you want, say a few, and then if I have any remarks, maybe I'll say something, but I won't.
Absolutely. So starting at number 10, my number 10 entry on this top 10 list is from No Code, and it's present tense. And I think the reason why this is on the list is around the time that we started getting into Pearl Jam together, Ethan, we were competing in college athletics, and we went through a big phase of just kind of learning to believe in yourself and learning to be present and enjoy your opportunities when you have them. And I have vivid memories of listening to this song on the bus to practice, or on the bus to the meet, or the morning of a meet, and it's just kind of like calm myself down, and just as a reminder to be present. And I love the line, you're the only one who cannot forgive yourself. And I think that's so true of a lot of different things. And for that reason, and just for the overall sentiment of the song, it makes much more sense to live in the present tense and let all your past mistakes, if you can, let them wash away and focus on what you can do. This song has always been important to me, and I just love the instrumentation of it too. So that's my number 10 entry.
That's awesome. That's a really good one that I forgot to.
That's the cool part about this too, because as I read my list, you're gonna be like, shit, I should have thought of that one. And the same thing's gonna happen to me in about 20 minutes when you do your list. So moving up to number 9.
Good choice.
I'm going to go to the well of verses, and my number 9 song is Rear View Mirror.
Hell yeah.
This one's just, I mean, everybody knows this one is a total rocker. It's just so fucking fast and so heavy, and Dave Abruzzes's drums are so great, and at the end of the studio track, you can hear him throw his drumsticks in frustration, because evidently they made him do tons and tons of takes of this because it wasn't hard enough. And then finally he got it, and he just slammed his sticks against the wall, and you can kind of hear him rattle around a little bit. But this is just such a great song. I love the lyric, I gather speed from you fucking with me. And obviously, I think everybody can relate to saw things so much clearer once you were in my rear view mirror. It's just obviously a great driving song. It's a great getting away from anything that's ever done you wrong song. So this one's never far away from me.
I remember... little anecdote, and I know you'll remember this, but I remember I was going through a relationship breakup, and I think you posted this song, and I got flack for it in my
I do remember this. Just completely unbeknownst, because I didn't know that you had had a fight like the night before or something.
Well, because we talked about it, and like the song was on your mind or something, and then you posted it, and I was like, I remember looking at it, I was like, this is gonna be totally taken the wrong way, and it was. Saw things clear once you're in my rear view mirror.
That wasn't the only time I did that too. I also did that with Hey Jealousy by the Gin Blossoms, the lyric, if you don't expect too much, you might not get let down. I think I posted those like back to back, and in the relationship you were at the time, I remember you were like, Chris, you don't know what you just did to me, man.
Unbelievable. And it was like, oh, it was so...
That's absolutely, I remember that. It's good for a laugh now. I mean, that was like 5-6 years ago now. So
yeah, if you're listening, it was Chris, not me.
Let's
Okay,
hope they're
next.
not listening. Oh my goodness! All right, moving up to number 8. We're gonna go back to No Code, believe it or not. So 3 songs in, no 10, no Vitalogy. We're going back to No Code, and my number 8 Pearl Jam song is Red Mosquito. If I had known then what I know now, Ethan, that line in that song it was very important to us, kind of in like our weird like musical and philosophical awakening that we went through when we first started getting into this, and it's just
that made an honorable mention for me. Yeah, that was an honorable mention. It's a very important song. That ending is so strong, the way it builds. Great. Yeah, and we would say that to each other a ton.
Yeah. That was my Instagram bio for like 5 years. If I had known then what I know now.
And that's awesome. Yeah, that was a good one. It didn't quite. I left it off my top 10 just cause. But that is a great song. Great choice.
Yeah, that's like one of those phrases that we would always say back and forth to one another, and I would also say that to a lot of people. Like I've been tagged in a couple of Instagram posts, and like the caption has just been like, "If I had known then what I know now," because I always say that all the fucking time, or at least I used to. But still, if I had known then what I know now, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's hard to say.
There's a reason.
You don't know. You don't know how different things would be. So, number 7, lucky number 7 for me. We are going to go to Vitalogy for this one, and I am going to Corduroy. Specifically, if I could make an amendment to it, it would be the alternate take that I think is on the bonus version of the album. I just like it better. I think it's a lot cooler. It's just a great Pearl Jam song, kind of finding their stride after exploding in 10 and verses. And man, I love this song. I love the aggression. Take my hand, not my picture. I would rather starve than eat your bread. That's another line that has gotten a lot of usage in our personal and professional lives over the years. And then the lyric, everything has changed, absolutely nothing's changed. I also just love how this song builds into the chorus, and it builds into the ending. And the opening of the song is really, really quiet, as is the bridge. And it just kind of builds, that guitar riff that they're playing until everything just kind of blows up. And man, it's just such a great song. I mean, that's as classic of a Pearl Jam song as you can get, in my opinion. So we like that one.
That's a good one.
Now we've arrived for my number 6 selection as the song that it has absolutely no meaning to me in my past, and it does not tied to any specific event. But from Yield, I'm going with MFC, the Mini Fast Car. I don't know why. I don't have a ton to say about this song. It's just a great driving song. I really, really like kind of the sense of urgency that it brings with it. There's so many songs in Pearl Jam's catalog, and Ed seems to write about leaving a lot, leaving different situations. And this one's, it's got the same thing. There's some lyrics in there that I don't connect them with anything in particular. I just really like them. They said timing was everything, made him want to be everywhere. There's a lot to be said for nowhere. And I don't even know how to dissect it. I like what I think it means, if that makes sense. And it's just a great song. It's quick. It's like 2 minutes. Fantastic. So that's my number 6 one. So now I'm sure 5 through 1, you're not going to be surprised by many of these, Ethan, because I think they're all timers for me. So for number 5, I'm going to the Binaural album, which, by the way, on the day that we're recording today, turns 22. So May 16th, 2000, it was released, and we're sitting down now on May 16th, 2022. And my selection that happens to be from that album for my number 5 song is Light Years. This song's been really important to us, and I think to a lot of Pearl Jam fans whenever they've gone through a period of loss. And I think I'm hard pressed to find a song that illustrates how difficult it is to understand loss sometimes. And you're here one day, you're gone the next, and today just disappeared. And I know that lyric, we were but stones, your light made us stars. And I think that's probably one of the more special ways I've ever heard it described, how somebody can be so impactful to you as a person. And there's a live version that they do at Pink Pop 2000 where Eddie Vedder was talking about the fact that they lost somebody who lived around the area where the concert was, who they knew, who I believe worked for Sony, and he was saying that they never got a chance to say goodbye. So this performance is goodbye, and he says if you've got good friends, love them while they're here. And I've posted that clip 1,000 times. I'll probably post it 1,000 more times because if there's one lesson I think in life, it's that if you've got good friends, you love them while they're here because you don't know. And that song explains how it feels when they go away, because you don't get any warning most of the time, and there's a big absence. So this one's definitely been really, really important to me, and that's why it's number 5 on my list.
That's a really good one, and a great reasoning for it. Great choice.
Absolutely. So up to number 4, Ethan, you might be surprised that this one is not higher, but today it's landing on number 4. This is from 10, and it is the song that is permanently marked on my body. That would be Porch. We just spoke about this song a couple of episodes ago, I think. Mm-hmm. Either that or I posted about it. I don't know. It all runs together. But, the cross I'm bearing home ain't indicative of my place. I know we talked about that lyric a little bit from a couple of weeks ago. And, hear my name, take a good look. This could be the day. That was one that we used to talk about all the time. And I still think about it all the time. I mean, you never know. You never know when things are going to work out or things are going to come together for you. So you got to keep trying. And at least that's how I have always interpreted that song. And aside from my interpretation of the song, it's just a fucking rocker.
Right.
I mean, their performances of this, the extended jams where Ed would be climbing around in 91 and 92. I mean, it's hard to beat that. I think this song is really one of the things that established Eddie Vedder's showmanship back in the day, and really kind of, I think, heightened the lore around the band. Is his daring stunts, as a frontman during this song, and I think it's really a seminal part of their legacy, and it's certainly one of my favorites.
Yeah, this one pops up in my head a lot when I'm trying to prove somebody wrong. I mean, when you're trying to do something,
it's a good feeling when you finally do it too.
Oh yeah, and you hear my name, and we definitely have talked about this a lot. I remember, I think you were possibly going to get that whole lyric, hear my name, take a good look, but you just had to go with the song title.
Porch right over here on my body, on my right rib cage. So it's so funny because, now the weather's warming up again and you're outside, if you're going to a pool or whatever.
Your tattoos.
And people just come out with like, what does porch mean? Like, what the fuck's that about? And I don't feel like explaining it to them. So I just tell them, I'm like, it's important. That's all I say. Like, what does it mean? I was like, it's important.
I love that.
That's all you have to say. It's none of their business what it means. I don't like asking people what their tattoos mean, because I don't like it when people ask me. It means a lot to me, and you get what means a lot to you. I don't ask you about yours. Don't ask me about mine. So that's how I feel about that. But I'll get off of my tattoo soapbox.
Enough tattoos.
Enough with tattoos. I gotta get some new ones soon. I'll get something else that no one knows what the fuck it means. Yeah, rear view. So number 3. Oh, I almost skipped number 3. I almost went up to number 2. I was jumping the gun, but I can't skip this song.
It's like when you tried to skip Spoon, man.
Exactly. I can't be doing this. I can't be trusted to keep things in a straight order here, I guess. Number 3, it's a good reason we're not skipping this. We're going back to verses, and we are going with The Mighty Dissident. This song is just, I just love the music on this one. I think their live performances of this song on the Versus tour in 1993, right up there with Corduroy in the sense of, I don't think it gets any better for what a Pearl Jam song is. I mean, just the instrumentation, Dave's drumming, how he's able to keep time, Stone with the rhythm guitar, Mike playing those really clever leads that he had, and Jeff pounding on the bass. And back then, I mean, 93, 94, Eddie's vocals on this song were just absolutely incredible. It's kind of like the archetype of what I would think a rock lead singer should sound like. I mean, towards the end when he hits that last chorus and his voice is way up there on Dissident. I mean, that's such a good song, and we always joke back and forth. The opening guitar lick kind of saves our life from time to time.
Yeah,
that's always good when you have your playlist on shuffle and this one pops up. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's
or
so
the
good.
local radio
stop
station
what you're doing and just let it rain down on you.
Yeah, there's no Pearl Jam song I turn up more if it comes on the radio than this one. I'm always like,
in fact,
turn this up.
Yeah, I have a good friend who every time I hear this on the radio, I will either text them or I will send them a Snapchat. I will turn it all the way up and I will scream, "Holy fuck, Dissident is on the radio," and just Selly the whole time because it's a moment of celebration. So I'm due for one of those soon. Hopefully my local rock radio station gets the program here.
Hopefully
they're listening. They're just gonna play it back to back and just I'll have like I don't know, something bad will happen to me, but it'll be worth it because Dissident will be playing. At least it'll be cinematic.
It'll save your life. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. The guitar lick. That's all you gotta rely on. So number two on my list is officially released on Lost Dogs. But it was a demo that had been around, I think, since the 10 era. They had done a version of it around Versus. I think Vitalogy 2. They recorded an alternate version for a movie. But I don't really know which version is my favorite, the movie version or the Lost Dogs version, but it's Hard to Imagine, which is I'd probably say it's got to be the deepest cut on my list, I guess, along with Mini Fast Car. But yeah, Hard to Imagine. I don't know. It's hard for me to explain why this one is so important to me. I just like kind of have that like weird spiritual connection with the song that I can't really explain. Things were different then, all is different now. I tried to explain somehow, and like just the way the song builds is just really, really, really awesome. And although I never really listened to it too much because it wasn't on the streaming services, I did discover they cut a separate version recording of the song for a movie called Chicago Cab, which I don't think it was an acclaimed movie at the time. I don't think it did super well at the box office, but there were a couple of different lyrics, and there's a lyric in that one that I just really, really love, and it's "Fuck tradition, no one's safe from harm, count the days on your arm," and that's just really, really powerful songwriting. But this song is it's so important to me. It's just kind of a great reflective song, and it's one that's always been special to me, and I think it always will be. So that one is, without thinking, I knew my top two without even really thinking about it. I knew that this was going to be number two because I knew that Release was going to be number one. And that's probably not a surprise to anybody who's listened to our podcast since the beginning. This is obviously from 10. It's the final track on 10. And I don't really need to say anything about it because I think for everybody who is a fan of a band, they have quote unquote that song that made them a fan. And this is that song for me with Pearl Jam. This one cemented my lifetime fandom of Pearl Jam and my lifetime connection with them.
Yep. There was no surprise that was going to be top two, not two. And lo and behold, it was. I had that disclaimer. It's on my top 10, and I had it up there, but I decided to switch it to kind of mix it up. So a little foreshadowing.
Okay. Because so before you get into your list, I'm just going to rattle off some honorable mentions. I'm not going to talk about them, but all of these songs I would say were in the runnings for like numbers 8 through 10 on my list. Like I said, if it was a different day, they might be on the list, but honorable mentions for me: Come Back, Breath in a Scream, Yellow Ledbetter, Gone, Sirens, You Are, Nothing Man, Alive, and Leash. Those are all songs that once I started thinking about it, I was like, oh, should these be on the list or should they not be? And then rather than change my list, I just threw them in the honorable mention category. So if we did this in a month's time, they'd probably some of them be on the list, but not today. Today's not their day, but tomorrow could be, as Porch tells us, could be the day.
Yeah. This is interesting going after you and hearing yours. I'll just get right into it. So I'm actually going to start with 11 because this one I had one that I forgot. I actually had
totally.
And I felt like I needed to put this on because I really do like this song, and it is off of Vitalogy, and it's Not For You. And this is one of my favorite late night performances that they have. And we've posted it a few times. Someone sent us a good version, I think, because I don't think it wasn't on YouTube for a while. The guy had sent it. Someone sent it to us.
Yeah, I remember something weird around it.
Or like it was taken off. I can't remember. But this song is just, it's so good. And we would send these, we send these lyrics to each other so often. Like every song, there's a lyric that gets sent. And
there's just an hour of Chris and Ethan exchanging inside jokes about songs.
Yeah, just lyric after lyric after lyric, and this is Not For You is a good way to, it also harkens to the Mudhoney, keep it out of my face.
Yeah. If you think about it though, Ethan, that is like the unofficial mantra of the podcast and the page. If you don't like it, it's just not for you.
Yeah, exactly. So that was an honorable mention, I guess, because it did make the top 10. But number 10, and this one I had up higher. I've talked about this a lot, how it is one of my favorite songs. But when I was building this playlist, I was trying to think of what I wanted to listen to right now, and it didn't. The other songs I wanted to listen to more. So
yeah.
And you actually, I don't think you mentioned this one. So I put Black as number 10.
Yeah, it was not on my list.
It didn't make the list. Off of 10, it's a great song. It's one of my favorite songs that they've played live. As we talked about that experience, just a really good song. I just feel like it's a little different. It's a different vein than all the other Pearl Jam like songs. I feel like it kind of stands alone in the way that it sounds. I'm not sure why. But I think that is just a really good song for me. So it's number 10. Number 9, I kind of cheated here. I kind of cheated because I really do like the 10 album. And there's a few songs that I kind of clumped together for 9. So for my number 9.
It's our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
So it's Once, Why Go, and Porch are all in the same...
So they're all nine A, B, and C.
Yeah, they're 9 A, B, and C because they're not next to each other on the album. But I feel like they kind of like Why Go Home, Once. It's just they all have the same energy to me, and they all feel really important. But it was hard to pick which one instead of the other to kind of like
encapsulates that tempo and that energy for you. Yeah.
So I kind of put them all as 9, but I also 8 is a little bit. It sounds a little bit different because of it's off of the Versus album, and you, I believe it was. I can't remember what number it was for you, but Leash.
That was one of my honorable mentions. Honorable mention. That was going to be on your list, though.
Yeah. And so that's Leash is my number 8. It has it's just a little bit different energy than the 3 at 9, but it has the same feel for me, and I really enjoy listening to that song.
I have to say, if I had made this list when I was like 19, back when we started listening to this, Leash would have been like number 2 and number 3. Troubled Souls Unite, We've Got Ourselves Tonight, Drop the Leash, We Are Young. And I had this thought because I put it in honorable mention, and I was like, wow, that should really be on my list. But I'm not old, I'm only 25, but the song meant more to me when I was younger. Like, can I add the disclaimer, Drop the Leash, We Are Young, parentheses, a little bit older than we used to be, but we're still kind of young. I remember I loved that song when I was in college, and I think you used the phrase, ready to attack hell with a water gun.
Yeah.
That song encapsulated that feeling for me in a big way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a good one. I'm definitely going to listen to that later when I'm on my way to working out. So that was number 8. So number 7, a repeat offender, Rear View Mirror. This one because of what we talked about. I mean, it's very it reminds me of our show a lot, and our friend Rear View Mirror,
which we spoke about,
and just how time passes, and if we're talking lyrics, I mean it's very easy to think about how life moves on. Yeah,
there's so many lyrics in that one that could be like the lyric.
Number 6, I'm not sure. I don't think you brought up Elderly Woman.
I did not.
Yeah, and this one, I was. It could be higher on my list, I think, because this one, I feel like I can always listen to this one. I can always sing. It's a very, very obviously it's a big sing along at the concerts, and that's some of my favorite. I always think about everybody in the venue singing it, and for some reason, it's just such a pleasant song to listen to for me. And I like when Ed talks about it. It just is a top 5 Pearl Jam song for me, I think, at the end of the day. And I think anytime you make the list, I don't know. Do you feel the same? Do you not?
Well, I was just gonna say, that one doesn't really do it for me anymore.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Not at all. I don't even know if it'd be top 40 for me.
Ooh.
I used to love it. I don't know what happened. I can't tell you the last time I sought it out to listen to it. I love the sentiment behind it. It's just, maybe I have to hear it live again and then it'll reinvigorate. Because like you said, like when I just want to scream hello and everyone just screams hello. It's so good. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really do it for me right now.
Right. I mean, I left off.
If you don't like it, just kill me. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could have put on. I left out like Better Man and Daughter and
they serve
Alive.
a similar purpose at a show. Yeah,
Alive and all of that. Yeah. So, so my number 5. This is a song I was kind of talking about. This is maybe the more off the wall, but I'm going with Sirens off of Lightning Bolt. In 2013. This song, for whatever reason, it got a lot of playtime for me when I was listening. It's such the musicianship is so, and he does this. They do this. Pearl Jam does this often, where they create like a very nice atmosphere that you can just kind of like get lost in and kind of go up a notch, like on like you feel like you're on the clouds and you're like above or all, amongst the waves. If I could,
it's the same thing. Yeah.
Or it's very like atmospheric.
It's all kind of very similar, yeah.
Yeah, and this song, like, it always made me feel so vulnerable. And one of the lyrics is, it's a fragile thing, this life we lead. If I think too much, I can get overwhelmed by the grace by which we live our lives. And I just love it. It just is, like I said, it's a very vulnerable. It puts me in a very vulnerable spot. And
yeah. And in the end, I think there's a line in there, I hold you close, so much to lose, knowing that nothing lasts forever. I study your face and the fear goes away. I mean, that's just, that they couldn't have written that song when they were in their late 20s, for example. That had to have come later. And yeah, that's a really, really, really good song. That's probably their only song that would sniff this list for me post 2010, I would say. Or even post Avocado album. I mean, there's not much there on Backspacer for me, or what's it called, Lightning Bolt
or Gigaton.
Yeah, that one still hasn't digested for me. It will one day.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's coming.
So, I bet. We'll be waiting.
Yeah, we're patiently waiting. Hopefully, we're still doing the podcast by then.
So that's a really good song. Number 4, this one is Thanks to You. You brought it up, another relationship song that I don't really understand why it stuck with me, but it's just such a fun song. It's not, I don't even think it has anything to do with the relationship, but Glorified G. I don't know why I do, but it's just one of those songs that I just love putting it on and listening to it. I got a gun.
It's kind of funky. It's got a funky beat too.
Yeah, and there's no real reason why I like this song so much, other than like I just remember when you brought it up and you called this girl that I was dating the Glorified G.
We're talking more about this one relationship that you had probably than the amount of time you spent thinking about it over the last like couple of years.
No, this is a different relationship. The first one was.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, right. This one goes back. This is harkening a different girl.
That's right. Oh my goodness, I got my wires crossed. This one's deep in the archives. Yeah, I remember this one too.
Maybe it is because this relationship ended a little bit too early, and I feel like maybe it was the one that got away. I don't know. It happened in a weird time of mine. But the Glorified G that she was,
I do remember this one. Yep. Yeah, because
it's just one of the songs
she had this CD in her car, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. And you were like, "Oh, you like Pearl Jam?" She's like, "Yeah, I like Pearl Jam."
Yeah. She's like, "My dad loves Pearl Jam." I was like, "No way! This is wild." Wow. That was like 7 years ago. 6 years ago.
Yeah, lost to the ages.
Man. But it's such a, like I said, for some reason, like putting that song on, it's just a good song to listen to. It's like when I'm driving, and when the sun's out and it's just and like
that's a really good selection.
So number 3, this is where I put in Release. Okay. For it easily could be number 1 or 2 or but I figured I'd do a little bit differently. I mean, we've talked about this song at length. Totally. It's always such a good listen. I put number 2. I put Yellow Ledbetter there because
nice.
I put Ledbetter up because it is like, no matter how many times I've heard it, it's they have so many different arrangements, and obviously they do it. He does it differently, sings it differently, and I'm not good with lyrics for singing along. So this is the
you're in
perfect
luck.
song for me to sing because I don't need to know what I'm saying, and I just need to have the rhythm. And it has obviously the guitar work on this song is so fun and so good, and it just is, a prime Pearl Jam song that I just
really
love.
is.
It just takes it's in my top 3. It's so good.
Little anecdote that I have about this song, if you'll indulge me, I always play this song, like the last 4 times that I've moved apartments, or I remember when my college athletics career ended and I left college or whatever. Anytime something one of those chapters in my life closes, I make a point. I sit there and I listen to this song.
That's
I
interesting.
clean out my apartment, and before I lock the door the last time, I sit down and I just listen to this song. And so it's so funny. I've trained my brain that when I hear this song, it's like a scrapbook of all of the past chapters in my life. It's just it's such a good song. So good.
Yeah, that's interesting that that is your leaving. Yeah,
it's the closer.
And then the final song,
number one. I have to say, I don't think I know what's coming.
I think you do, but there's a lot of songs in circulation.
There's a lot of traffic right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic. But if there's one song that I need my life to be saved, if I need something to save my life, it's gonna be that a dissident is here.
The Mighty Dissident.
The Mighty Dissident takes the number 1 spot because that guitar riff to start it, and it's just such a jam. It's so fun, and it has everything for me right now. So it holds a top spot. Maybe the lure of I haven't heard it live. There's a few different things.
Yeah, we still need that one. We're reeling that one in. Hopefully, this year.
That's the only one that I want to talk about. I haven't had my Dissident yet. That's the only song that I'm gonna be annoying about when seeing Pearl Jam live and talking about them. So I think that's my number 1 spot. That was my number 1 right away, and Release was second. But then I switched Ledbetter for it just for this list.
Totally.
Some honorable mentions. I had Wish List pretty high.
Yes, that's a good one that I forgot about.
I had Red Mosquito as well. Nothing Man, Crazy Mary. I put on there.
Okay, yeah, that's a cover. I forget who it's by originally, but yeah.
Is it by Neil Young?
No.
No,
it's by somebody you wouldn't know. I forget. I remember finding it once, but
In Hiding.
In Hiding. I always put all those yesterdays on my list.
Yeah, all those yesterdays, and Hard to Imagine. As you put, that was a good one.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that concludes. But I do have 3 not top 10, Chris.
Oh, we're turning the tables. I cannot wait to hear this.
3 songs that I could do without. They kind of encapsulate when I don't like Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
It's random. I hope I don't offend anybody.
So are we going from your third not top 10 down to 1, or are they just in no order?
No, there's just 3 songs, and I don't even know if I want to comment any more than just for some reason when we put them on, they just kind of bug me.
Yeah, let's lay them out there, and then we can see if the moment strikes.
It's mainly because all right. So first one, and not so emotional about this one, but Lightning Bolt off of their Lightning Bolt album. For some reason I don't like. This one, Do the Evolution, I don't like. I really don't like. And Worldwide Suicide, I also don't like. But this is don't.
So those are not going to be finding their way into any Ethan Shalloway produced Pearl Jam playlist.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
You don't like Lightning Bolt, huh?
That one just doesn't do it for me.
Okay, that's fair.
The other ones I'm more Worldwide Suicide and Do the Evolution. I want to omit them from.
Yeah, that's
I hide them on playlists sometimes, but I know people really like. I know people love hearing Do the Evolution at concerts, or they always play that one.
I like that song. I think I like. I don't hate any of those 3. So
yeah. That's good.
I mean, hey, they're just not for you.
Do you have any not top 10 you can think of?
Man, I absolutely do. I'm having trouble kind of thinking of them right now. I'd say a lot of them are probably from their last 3 albums that they released.
Yeah, but that's low hanging fruit. I didn't want to.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some songs I don't even know how they go. I just can't hear them in my head. Like Johnny Guitar from Backspacer. That one's not really one for me. Oh, I know. From Lightning Bolt, Sleeping by Myself. That one, they played that when we went to Fenway. And I was like, all right, like if there's ever been time for a bathroom break. I just don't like it. I'm sorry. Just same way I don't like Eddie Vedder's ukulele album. I just I just don't like it. I'm sorry. There's nothing else to say. I do like Soon Forget, the ukulele song that was from earlier in their career, but yeah, I mean, if he brings out the uke, I'll take a lap.
Yeah. Oh man. Awesome. Any other remarks around Pearl Jam? And it sounds like, I mean, I definitely had a heavy dose of obviously verse, Vitalogy, and
yeah.
And
I had
10.
a lot of No Code on mine.
We do. I was surprised.
Yeah. And I've been listening to a lot of Yield too. There's a lot of songs off of Yield that could have made this list. I've really, really enjoyed that record the last 2 or 3 weeks. I've listened to it front to back a lot. I'm really kind of grooving with Push Me, Pull Me lately, which is kind of like one of those spoken word tracks. Which is really, really cool. I'm a sucker for any sort of like spoken word. Like I'm Open off of No Code is certainly one that I'm a big fan of. But yeah, Push Me, Pull Me. I always hated it until lately. I love the opening to it. I just want to say it because I just posted it yesterday. I had a false belief. I thought I came here to stay. We're all just visiting, all just breaking like waves. And that definitely kind of fits into kind of like the philosophical space that Pearl Jam's lyrics fit in my brain. But man, I mean, such a great band that you could sit here for an hour and talk about a top 10 list and still have dozens of other songs that you could speak about for dozens more hours. I mean, the amount that this band has given us, and you can say what you will about their recent stuff, which I certainly do, but I think for me, it's coming from a place that I just haven't really connected with it a whole lot, versus I think a lot of people take that and compare it to Versus and compare it to 10 and compare it to Vitalogy, which you can't do, because just like you can't compare yourself at 25 to the person you are at 55. I mean, the 25-year-old probably thinks the 55-year-old's lame, but there's nothing you could do about that. It's just the passage of time. So I mean, such a great band, and I mean, I'll go to the grave with them as my favorite band. I mean, I don't think that's ever really going to change.
Yeah, it was a fun exercise to write these lists, because it did remind me of their catalog. They have a lot of really great stuff, and it makes me want to actually kind of spend more time with certain albums and the songs that I was kind of reading over, and I was like, oh shoot, like I need to.
So I have 2 questions for everybody out there listening. The first question, if you're feeling ambitious enough, I would love to see a top 10 list of your favorite Pearl Jam songs. The second question, so Ethan, you and we spend a lot of time texting back and forth inside jokes with song lyrics. So I would love to know, what is your inside joke song lyric that you send back and forth to your friends? I would love to hear that and see what the people have to say.
Into the Flood again.
And that's everybody's at this point. There's 376,000 people out there with that as their inside
that'll say
joke.
That. Yeah, and they'll take that opportunity that you just gave them to
every time
to say that.
As I would expect.
It
them
is
to.
Monday.
They've been taught well. It is Monday.
They have.
The flood. How are the floodwaters aren't too bad for me today.
That's really good. Yeah, I had I saw one of my friends' snap stories. It was like morning ritual, and it was them listening to Wood as they drive to work. That's what you do. That's what you do in these times.
You grab your coffee and you put on Wood. So before we get into Song of the Week and before we wrap this episode up, I would like to extend a massive thank you to our producer, Drew McFadden. 61 episodes strong, and Drew has been the captain of the ship, guiding us through the rough waters of putting out a halfway respectable sounding, well-produced podcast episode. So Drew, thank you so much for your support and your help and your guidance and your ideas. And additionally, we'd like to thank everybody out there who was with us, who's checked in with us, who's left a review, left a comment, sent an email in. That all helps us continue to be better at what we do, which I still think, personally, at least I have a long way to go. I think we can still get a lot better. We're starting to round into form, but all of that feedback helps. So, thank you everyone for your time, for listening, and for sharing your thoughts with us. It means a lot.
It really does. Song of the Week.
Song of the week.
I got nothing else to say there.
I got nothing else to say about that either.
Would you like to go first for song of the week? Do you have something off of the top of your head, or you want me to?
I got something off the top of my head, which we already spoke about. But it was the first song from the Tomberlin show that I saw last week, and it is called "Memory," and it is off her most recent album. I Don't Know Who Needs to Hear This, and it's really kind of an eerie, somber song. Like there's no guitar in it. And it was kind of super cool that the three band members came out and they started playing, and she walked on the stage right as it was time for her to sing, and it's just a really, really good song. Like as soon as
that's cool.
As soon as I got kind of like halfway into that song, I knew it was going to be a good night. I knew it was going to be a really, really great show. But I'm going to be listening to that record and to her music incessantly for the next couple of weeks, maybe longer. But that's my song of the week, "Memory" by Tomberlin.
That's awesome. My song of the week is going to be, I've been, this past week I worked outside quite a bit, obviously, and I was listening to a ton of, listen to Dirt, listen to all of the Soundgarden stuff. A lot of Jerry pops up. It's so funny, like the algorithm is caught on that I've been listening to a lot.
They know it is the summer of Cantrell.
Like anytime I put on Dirt or I put on Super Unknown, and once it finishes, it shuffles to the next stuff. And Cut You In Jerry. Is almost always like within the first 3 songs. Yes. It always pops up, and I'm like, all right, like just comes in.
That's one of those songs that it comes on, you can't be upset about it. No, like I could be getting ready to go to sleep listening to Tomberlin or like Bon Iver, and then if Cut You In comes on, I was like, all right, looks like I'm raging tonight. It doesn't matter.
It's just so funny. It's like without fail, an album finishes and the next 2 songs, like I'm getting Cut You In. But one of the other songs that comes on after you finish your album and you go into the algorithm is St. Joe on the School Bus by Marcy Playground.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's like, St. Mary, and just like
that strikes me as an Ethan song.
Yeah, it's so good, and it's like they're probably I haven't listened to them. Marcy Playground a ton. Like, haven't gone through a lot of their albums,
right.
but people always talk about them being one of the most criminally underrated bands, and people only know Sex and Candy,
right,
and whatnot. So, I like the dude's voice, and that song has been jamming. It's so good for outside.
I have an idea.
You do? All right. It fits like the Bound to the Floor, that there's a few other really kind of jammy songs, something that Merchant Copy would play.
Well, speaking of which, I was just going to suggest that you and I start a Marcy Playground cover band.
I'm in.
Hey,
Say less.
We just play your song of the week 10 times, and that's our set.
Hell yeah! We just play that song, but we just extend it for 15 minutes.
We swap off who has lead vocals.
I love it.
It's gonna be great.
That's so good. Damn. Yeah, it's a good one. There's 2 good songs of the week.
Yeah,
that's great.
Different areas of the neighborhood, but both fantastic songs. So thank you everyone for listening. This has been episode 61 of the Grunge Bible podcast. Thanks for sticking with us. We hope to see you right here next week for episode 62.
Yes, have a great week. Listen to some great music. Go see your local music. Go support your local music venues, and please rock and roll.